So this week on Kayak USA, I got my hands on the new 79-inch CVT awning. It's got the built-in track system on the back, and I think I got a really cool way we're gonna mount this to the kayak trailer. Y'all stick around. All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name's TJ. Welcome to Kayak USA. Today, like I said, we're gonna be installing the 79-inch CVT awning, and I figured out a really neat way to do it. If you've been following along with this build, I have built everything so far out of this 1.5 inch square tubing. I got a piece right here. We built the whole trailer out of this, or the parts that I built. This started off as a 14-foot utility trailer, but the front box for the rooftop tent, the rack for the front, everything else I've welded up and built using this same square 1.5 inch tubing. And I kind of wanted to incorporate that throughout the whole trailer so that when we're done, I can paint this trailer really well and it'll look more factory than garage built like we're doing. So, but I got to thinking about this awning, and a lot of times people mount these on their trucks for overland vehicles and stuff like that. And usually it's too low up against the truck whenever you're camping. So you don't get to use that part of the awning. So if the awning stretches out 6 feet and it comes down, you get to use the shade out front. But if you want to work up against the truck or get to it, you gotta kind of squat up under the awning. I didn't want to do that, but I also didn't want to mount it so that this awning was so high up on the trailer and it just looked awful, and it was, just really funky looking on the side of the trailer. So I racked my brain trying to figure out a way that I could make this kind of telescopic so that when we get to where we're camping, I can raise the awning up, lock it in the position that we want it, use the awning, but when we're traveling, I can drop the awning back down and secure it so that it's, out of the way and it's not sticking 10 feet up off the top of the trailer. I think I figured that out. So I'm gonna still use this 1.5 inch square tubing that we're using, but I found this stuff at Lowe's. So this is 1.25 inch. See if I can show it to you. See how it's got the holes all in it? This is 1.25 inch square tubing from Lowe's, but it's got all the holes and it fits perfectly inside our 1.5 inch square tubing that I've been using. And what I'm thinking we're gonna do is, I've got this piece left and I'm trying to use every bit that I've got left before I have to go buy more of this stuff. But I've got this piece left and I'm gonna cut it in half. I think it's 64 inches, so that'll give us 2 pieces that are 32 inches, which is just about where we need it anyway. And I'm gonna weld up 1 stick of the square 1.5 inch tubing that we've been using down here somewhere and then down here somewhere, and it's gonna just stick straight up off the trailer. And it's gonna be open top so that we can use this to drop down in it. Now, this is, I think, 3 feet long. Let's see. Yeah, this is 3 feet long. So it's gonna drop, let's see if I'm still in frame here. It's gonna drop inside this square tubing, just like this, and it'll be about this high on the trailer. And we're gonna mount the awning all the way across this one and the one down there, get it mounted up, because the awning's got a nice track system so we can kind of mount it where we want it. And what's really cool about it is I can drill some holes in this 1.5 inch square tubing down here. And when we get to where we're camping, we can slide the awning up as high as we want it, put a pin across or a bolt, probably just a pin, like a trailer lock pin on each end, get it up to where we want it, and we will have a tall awning that you don't have to kind of walk up under and scrunch up under. And if you noticed, I also, those of you that's been following, I turned the tent around. If you remember, the air conditioner was on this side last week, or maybe week before last video when y'all saw this last. The AC unit was on this side and the tent was over there. I decided to turn it all the way around since we're gonna have the awning next to the opening. I was gonna build it over there, but the rod tubes are already over there, and I wanna be able to, since we're gonna be using this side as our camping area, we're gonna be able to pop our table and stuff out. I spun the tent around, that way the rod tubes aren't in the way and we can utilize this whole area when we're camping. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna cut this in half, clean up the edges a little bit. We're gonna measure it out, put it on the trailer, weld it up, and we're gonna have to weld it because if I bolt it, I really wanted to bolt it so we could move it if we wanted to, but this has got to be able to go freely up and down inside the pipe. So we're gonna have to weld it to the trailer, which is not a big deal. I'll just put a weld across the top and the bottom, and it should hold it really well. And it should look really good on this trailer too. I mean, we're not technically going for looks, but we also want it to look cool. I mean, who doesn't want their kayak camping trailer to look cool, right? So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut this up, we're gonna set the camera up, I'm gonna do some welding, and we're gonna mount this thing up and see how well it works. All right, y'all, it is welded in place. I went back and cleaned up all the welds because if you're a welder and you're watching me do this, by no means am I a welder. I have to use a grinder most of the time when I weld. So I went back and cleaned up all the welds, went ahead and put a coat of paint over everything so it wouldn't rust. And now all we got to do is test and see if it goes up, and then we'll open this thing out. Actually, for the first time, I've never even unrolled this thing. But I don't have the pins that I want to use in here whenever we raise it up. I need to go pick me up some. I'm going to use the you know, the little pins that you got on the front of your boat trailers and stuff where you just go through and clip the little clip over. I'm going to use those back here. And if we wanted to put a lock through it, we could also do that if we wanted to. But today I'm just going to use a couple of bolts. But it sits in the traveling position, so this will be how it is when we're traveling down the highway. It's nice and low. It's even actually with the billy bars just about, so it's a nice straight line. Plus, I've got this space here now. So once this is elevated and we open it up, I'm going to have an area here where we might be able to mount some more stuff. Maybe that fold down table that we talked about that we were going to do up there, maybe I can do it back here now, because it would actually make sense being under our canopy. But anyway, let's lift this thing up. It's light. It goes up and down nice and smooth. Let's go about right there. And what's really neat about this is I can adjust this to different levels. So if I wanted to go higher than that, we've got 3 foot of this tube running up and down here with these holes, so we can go any elevation that we want, really. Now, that's where we're gonna go, let's say when we're camping. The tent's gonna be popped out. It'll be out to here next to it. And then we'll be able to open this up right next to our tent and just have our whole camping area right in front of the trailer. So, hey, let's pop this thing out. If it fits in here, I don't know. This will be the first time. There's the plug. So this one is the, I can't remember what it's called. It's the 79-inch CVT. It's not the Pioneer, it's the other one. It has the built-in LED light. And it is green. It would have matched my last CVT tent pretty well. I might have to back the camera up. No, here we go. All right, so we should have legs that pop down like that. There's the other one. Now, I've never had one of these, so it's gonna take me a minute to figure out how to adjust these feet. All right, so we are not gonna talk about the last 5 minutes where I just struggled to figure out how to set this awning up. It was the first time I've ever set it up, and I thought I could just throw it up on camera, but I forgot exactly how these things went up. So anyway, it'll be very easy for the next time. It's up, and as you can see, it offers a ton of shade. I mean, this is huge for the side of this trailer. Not to mention our tent is gonna be popped out on this side. We're gonna have all that shade up under the tent where it folds out up under the ladder. And this also has the built-in light, like I told you guys. It's on a dimmer switch. Now, right now I've just got it hooked to my adventure box, but in the future I'm gonna be putting, and we're gonna film the video here on the channel, I'm gonna put some USB and some 12-volt like cigarette lighter plug outlets all over this trailer for things like this when we're camping, so we can just plug them up without having to drag cords all around and hook everything up. We're gonna add some loading lights, some rear fog lights and stuff like that. But this is actually on a dimmer switch. As you can see, you can go really dim or really bright. That'll give a lot of light for when we're camping at night. So I think this is gonna turn out great. Not to mention, we can completely walk all the way to the trailer. Now it's kind of saggy right here because I don't have it up high enough, but I could still go up probably another 12 inches if I wanted to and have just an angle, you know, coming out away from the camper or the trailer, just like this. So it'd be really good. But this is gonna be really nice for us to hang out and have some shade when we're camping. And it packs up good, it looks good on the trailer. What I'll do real quick before I end the video is I'll take you guys off the tripod and I'll give you a good walk around so you can see up close how I put everything together and how it goes up and down and stuff. So you can see I just got it welded up right to the top of the rail, and I actually put a weld at the bottom, and I decided, since I'm not such a great welder, to go ahead and weld a bead down both sides of the back. I don't know if you can see it really well, but I went ahead and painted everything, got it cleaned up. That's how it looks on the inside of the trailer. Plus, as you can tell, it's not taking up that much space. You know, it's just 1.5 inches of space, and we were already losing a little bit up front, so it kind of blends in. Everything looks natural with it. Here's the up close shot of the 1.25 inch square tubing we got from Lowe's. It's got the holes. I think the holes are set every inch. So we have a ton of adjustment just by using these 2 pieces of steel. And then we just slide it up and down. And like I said, I will be getting some of those locks to go through here. And so when we're traveling, we can lock it up and keep it safe, try to, you know, prevent some people from running off with my awning. But here's the light. It's probably a little bit bright for the camera, but that's as bright as it gets there. And then you can dim it down, and that's off. That's how she looks off. All right, y'all, that's gonna do it for this week's video. We finally got the awning installed. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Next week, we're gonna be adding the corner jacks to the trailer, and possibly we're gonna be running the wires and the outlets and the fog lights and stuff if everything's here in time. So stay tuned for that video every Thursday at 2 o'clock. If you're new, that's when I upload, 2 o'clock every Thursday p.m. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can follow along with these builds. I'm also building a Hobie Pro Angler 14 right now, waiting on some stuff to come in for that build. We're gonna build it at the same time we're building this out, and we're gonna be taking this thing out very soon, so stay tuned for those videos, and I'll catch you next Thursday at 2 o'clock. Peace.